In 1789, France was on the brink of collapse. The country was burdened by crushing debt, widespread famine, and growing resentment among its people toward the monarchy. This tension led to the beginning of one of the most significant and violent revolutions in history, the French Revolution. It changed the face of France forever and laid the groundwork for modern democracy and the decline of monarchies across Europe. The late 18th century in France was marked by deep social inequality. France was divided into three estates. The first estate, made up of the clergy, the second estate, composed of the nobility, and the third estate, which represented the vast majority of the population, peasants, workers, and the bourgeoisie, or middle class. The third estate paid almost all the taxes, while the wealthy first and second estates lived in privilege, exempt from many of the burdens. Meanwhile, King Louis XVI and his court lived lavishly at Versailles, disconnected from the struggles of the common people. Economic troubles worsened after France's involvement in costly wars, including aiding the American Revolution. By 1789, bread prices were skyrocketing, famine gripped the countryside, and the national debt had reached a breaking point. The people were hungry, desperate, and ready for change. In May 1789, King Louis XVI called a meeting of the Estates General, a gathering of representatives from all three estates, to address the financial crisis. The third estate, representing 98% of the population, was tired of being outvoted by the clergy and nobility, so they demanded more say in government decisions. When their demands were ignored, the third estate broke away and declared itself the National Assembly. Soon after, locked out of their usual meeting hall, the National Assembly gathered in an indoor tennis court and vowed to remain united until a new constitution was established for France. This moment became known as the Tennis Court Oath, a defining moment in the early days of the Revolution. The storming of the Bastille on July 14, 1789, marked a pivotal moment in the French Revolution. As tensions escalated, so did the fear of military retaliation by the king. On that fateful day, Paris erupted into violence. Revolutionaries stormed the Bastille, a prison that symbolized the monarchy's abuse of power. Though there were few prisoners, the Bastille was seen as a symbol of royal tyranny, and its fall sent shockwaves across France. The storming of the Bastille became the symbolic start of the revolution. It emboldened the people and demonstrated that change was possible through action. Today, Bastille Day is celebrated in France as a national holiday, marking the moment when the people stood up against oppression. The Reign of Terror, spanning from 1793 to 1794, was a dark and tumultuous period in the French Revolution. As the revolution gained momentum, it became more radical and violent. In 1792, King Louis XVI was arrested, and by January 1793, he was executed by guillotine, marking the end of the monarchy. Marie Antoinette, the Queen, met the same fate later that year. What followed was the Reign of Terror, a period where paranoia and fear consumed the revolution. The Committee of Public Safety, led by Maximilien Robespierre, sought to root out enemies of the revolution, both real and imagined. Thousands were executed, including prominent revolutionaries who had once led the charge for change. The guillotine, which had been introduced as a more humane method of execution, became a symbol of the revolution's bloodshed. Over 17,000 people were executed during the Reign of Terror, and many more were imprisoned or exiled. The revolution had spun out of control, and the very leaders who fought for liberty and equality were now consumed by power struggles. By the late 1790s, France was exhausted. The monarchy had been overthrown, but the country was in chaos. Out of this turmoil, a young general named Napoleon Bonaparte emerged. In 1799, Napoleon seized power in a coup d'etat, ending the revolution and declaring himself first consul of France. Though Napoleon eventually crowned himself emperor in 1804, many of the revolutionary ideals, liberty, equality, fraternity, lived on. The revolution had forever changed France, ending centuries of monarchy and giving birth to ideas of citizenship, rights, and democracy that would spread across Europe and beyond.